think that might be fit. I don't know.
These are the people they really need to see. Because they're, yeah, changed it.
Welcome in, y'all. We gotta learn genetics. Period. Let's just come out the gate saying that. Like, we gotta stop talking about skin color and we gotta start understanding skin composition. So welcome in, y'all. Tap and share the live. Hopefully this one is better. And we're just gonna wait for our people to get back in here. You know what I'm saying? So we can continue the conversation.
Yeah.
Welcome in, y'all. Welcome in.
We got to make the choice to separate from these people. But we got to understand how we're different from these people, because the reason why we're living near these people is because we think we're the same.
Yeah, we haven't broke away from this system because we think we need it. We think we're the same as these people. We think that they're supposed to be here. We just think that they're just not from the same place as us, which if you understand genetics, that doesn't make sense. And the last slide that we just did a second ago, somebody said that all these other people come from Euro-Asia. I just want people to understand, like, explain to me how you come from a landmass. Were you born on land or were you born in your mother's womb? So somebody is controlling the narrative here, because people think that they're percentages of land masses and that they're titles. But the one thing that no one ever wants to discuss is genetics. We like to take the blame off of ourselves and say white women this, white that, white that. But in order for these people to have done everything that they have done to us, to our planet, to our children, to the animals, to everything, we have to have a discussion about the psychological, the neurological wiring, the brain circuitry behind why these people do the things that they do. So it's not just YT people that do it, right? Because Dravidians have had their hand in this as well. The first man to ever so-called enslave us was the so-called Asian man. Next in line was the Arab man. Within the last 400 years, they've made it about the YT man. That's the reason why we're socially conditioned to think that this is so white versus black, because of conditioning, because of cultivation, right? A lot of people think that, baby hairs, long nails, all these different things, sagging, the food that we eat is culture. But if we haven't always done these things, is this culture or is this cultivation?
Something we adopted.
Right. Somebody said it took 7 nations to defeat our ancestors. We were a global civilization that knew all the same information. There's pyramids on every landmass because we all knew the same information. We were a a matriarchal global civilization. So when I see women today, right, pushing patriarchy, saying, well, we need to get black removed off of the census. We need to take back the things that our grandparents didn't have. You're pushing patriarchy. If you think that fighting this system or beating this system is gonna be with you somehow sitting down at the same table as these people, that's not it. The only thing that we haven't done collectively as a people is walk away from this system. We've done black-owned businesses. More BLK women have gone to school than ever. We've done this, we've done that. They still snatching our children. They're still poisoning the planet. They're still drilling her oil, which makes her so-called joints unlubricated. The same thing that they're doing to your body, the same way that they're trying to deteriorate your genetics, they're doing to the planet. These people are not us. All right? They're not us. What's the explanation behind that? Genetics. If you don't know it, go learn about it. Go learn about totipotent stem cells, learn about embryology, learn about your biology, because if we're in these cultural appropriative lives, if we're talking about how race is not biological, then we shouldn't be discussing it. Do y'all realize what y'all are saying when y'all say that race is not biological? You know that biology, bio, means the study of life. So when you say race is not life, you're telling me everything that I need to know to drop this shit. Because it's not telling me anything about your genetics.
Yep.
If YT people, right? Let's talk about biracial. You know, let's talk about people that are so-called mixed, right? If you understand genetics and how DNA is being passed down and how traits are inherited, there's really no such thing as biracial. Whatever the mother is, because she carries the egg cell, the ovum, or the totipotent stem cell her whole life, all the sperm does is come along and spark the egg, spark the pattern. It's called a zinc spark within her. That means that that so-called black sperm, right, is what basically just ignited a white child. So it does not dismiss the father, but most of your genetics comes from your mother because of the X chromosome. All right, go ahead, yo, go ahead.
What's up? Yeah. No folks not indigenous to the land of America. Only the true so-called reclassified black, Negro, or colored Americans are indigenous.
All right, and how do you feel about everybody outside of us not being us?
They fraud and they getting exposed. Ever since 2015, it was almost more than 11,000 pale-skinned Native Americans who got exiled out of their tribe. And these folks are getting exposed for fake ancestry.
And you know what exposes fake ancestry? The only thing that can debunk fake ancestry? Genetics. Because when you say Black American, you know, there are a lot of so-called mixed people that believe that they're Black, and on paper and according to this system, it would make them Black, but according to genetics, they are not. So this is not really the type of live or panel where we subscribe to titles. We're not appreciative of the fact that we've allowed a fake, inorganic, unnatural being to name the landmass America and to have classified us as Black Americans, copper colored, any of that. Because the titles don't make us who we are. It's our genetics that make us who we are. So the thing is when people say, oh, we the
America been
Tamari,
America, though.
I'm almost done. When people say that we're the Tamari or the Indian or whatever the case is, they're calling you FBA or African American or Black today. Nothing about our genetics changed. So they can change the title tomorrow. Nothing about your genetics would change. So that's why titles literally don't matter. Whatever they were doing in so-called history is how they were classifying you. We used to be called Cherokee, Seminole, Tamari, all because what was happening in this country. But today they call us freedsmen. But they're still snatching our children. We still chasing a bag. We still pushing patriarchy. So we're still enslaved. The narrative just changed. And when the narrative changes, so does the title. Go ahead.
The Cherokee, Chickasaw, and Choctaw, those are different nations. And America been called America before the folks got here. It was called Amaru, Amaruka. And it was Amarukans, the land of the serpent.
So you said it was called America before they got here, and it was called American. So it wasn't called America.
It derives from Amarukan.
So the name changed.
Yeah.
Did anything about the land, soil composition, trees, microorganisms, animals, did anything about that change Did the composition of the soil or the trees or grass change?
No.
Just the title, right? Just the title, right? So again, we've been subscribing to titles and narratives and all this for the last 2 to 400,000 years. That never changed our genetics. We mix with these people. That didn't change our embryology. Do you think that all BLK people globally are the same, or do you think that we're different?
We're obviously different.
And when you say different, you mean like because we speak different languages and stuff, or like we're different?
It's different bone structure, different organs, different skin tones, different makeup.
I've heard y'all say different bone structure. We've clocked that, but I never heard anybody say different organs. What organs are different between so-called Africans and everybody else, or so-called Black people and everybody else? What are the difference in organs? I'm confused about, because that's anatomy. I didn't know that there were. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Black American organs, since we have a different melanin than the rest of so-called Black folks around the world, our melanin coats our organs in a different way.
So that makes the organs as a whole completely different.
Yeah, it also gives them more expansion.
Okay, so what's
Oh, I just had a question right
Go ahead.
before that.
Yeah.
I heard you say something. You were about to ask me about the melanin.
Yeah.
What's the melanin that so-called African Americans have versus everybody else?
Yeah, what's the difference in melanin?
I know that we receive the sunlight differently.
That's not what I asked you. What's there's different types of melanin that exists, because you
I
said
know, but I don't know
melanin.
which ones it's called.
So you don't know, but you're saying we have a different one. So how can you differentiate it in your mind? Can you explain it to us?
I can't explain. I just tell you I don't know what it's called.
So you just made up something.
I'm not making it up. This is true.
So what's the different melanin?
I can look it up.
There are 8 types of melanin. Hold on, Amanda. I'll get to you in just a second. There are 8 types of melanin. 5 that are basic, 3 that are synthetic. So I'll give you that, and then let me know if you can find it. Because there's nothing different. When you're saying that they have different organs, you're saying that they're a different organism. It's atoms that turn into cells, that turn into tissues, that turn into organs, and it's the organs that make the organism. So you're saying that they're completely different. We would be able to see it on a phenotypical level. Go ahead, Amanda.
Oh yeah, I just came by because I wanted to know, like, what do you mean not like us, or
Genetics.
and by genetics, what do you mean by like genetics?
The
Genetics, the genomics,
the genetic composition.
Yeah, embryology.
What?
The genetic composition of everybody outside of so-called Black people is pheomelanin and eumelanin, and it's vitrosynthetic eumelanin and pheomelanin, where they get DNA. Hold on for a second. Where they get DNA from pigs, dogs, cats, and they get the biopolymers of their melanin, and they bind it together through sonoporation or electroporation to make species. You were created in a lab, just like a donkey, a banana.
I don't understand what you're meaning by that. I don't get it. No, it's because you guys, I see you guys all the time on the panels talking about like we're not from, like we're like somewhere else or something. And we're just as human as you guys. And actually, you are from Africa and you came like we came as humans. So I don't know why you guys, I don't know why you guys come on here and do all that stuff. I don't know why you guys.
1 second. So-called Black people don't have animal
It's not
DNA.
so-called.
Hold on for a second. It is so-called because you called us Black. Every name every name that comes from this language, because language comes from languish, which means to suffer. So all these words came from your people, which hold on for a second, from your people who are getting instructed by a whole different group of organisms on this planet. That's who really has been naming landmass. It's not even y'all. So let me get this situated real quick. Everybody outside of so-called black people, y'all have 25,000 to 30,000 genes from different animals. You are a mixed animal DNA organism. And so-called black people don't have animal DNA because our DNA is neuromelanin, which is condensed sunlight. That's why when we're out in the sun, we undergo black body radiation, where we absorb the whole entire light spectrum and utilize that energy for our entire daily function, and it regulates our circadian rhythm. That doesn't happen with you. When 2.2 million of y'all unalive a year from solar radiation, that's when we start to know, like, okay, there's something going on with you and the sun that you don't want to tell everybody else. Y'all are deleting. Y'all are having chromosomal deletions under the sun. You are an unnatural species. This is what we mean. You're not us. You have animal DNA. We don't have animal DNA.
Okay, I'm not sure who's talking. Go ahead, Gigi. Go ahead, and then we'll get back to Amanda. All right, we can't hear you, so swipe down on your screen and then swipe back up. And Gigi, you're off the app, so we can't hear you. So we're either, if you don't come off mute, then we're just gonna take you off and then continue with Amanda. So I'm gonna give you 3 seconds.
Speaking to me?
Yes, go ahead.
No, I wanted to ask Amanda, where do you believe? How did the life on Earth start, according to you, Amanda? And yes, according to which scientists, the Western world or people that look melanated, which are from Africa? Because we have a different, when you come to us in Africa, we have a different story. We don't come from monkeys.
Okay, the thing is all of us all over the globe, no matter if it's Africa, America, whatever the landmass, all have the same embryology. Right? We can't say melanated because this white woman that's on the panel is melanated. Every single organism that's living has melanin. Microorganisms have pyomelanin, right? Every single thing that's living has melanin. So when y'all say melanated people, I don't be knowing who y'all talking about for real, right? That's why it pays to understand the composition of the melanin, how it interacts with light, if it absorbs or if it just interacts, right? UVA
Yes, that's
only
true.
allows these people UVA is the only ray that these people can interact with, but they still don't absorb the radiation. So we got to get specific. When it comes to Africans not evolving from none of us came from monkeys. The narrative is the same all over the globe for us, right? So the thing is, when people bring up evolution, they don't understand the base premise of it. There's fact in the theory, but the base premise of the theory for how we went from haploids to diploids, went from being autotroph to heterotroph, was never been proved. It hasn't ever been proven to be correct to the second that we're at today, to the mega per second, right? Because basically what you're saying is that this unnatural organism, this vitropheomelanated, vitro-eumelanated organism came from condensed sunlight, which is neuromelanin, which is what so-called black people have around the globe. That's why we're able to withstand the sun and terrestrial radiation, because if you pay attention to how stars and planets are born and how they unalive, it's the same. Earth will go back into her crystalline state or into her star state. It's a cycle. It's the life cycle of a star, right? So the thing is these people don't come from us genetically. They stem from a completely different embryological origin. All right. So I just had to like clock that, in there.
Thank you, Sky,
Yeah.
for that deep explanation. Yeah, but my point was, when you, because I'm originally from Africa, from the Congo, yeah. And when I speak with my peeps or my elders, we don't have the narrative that we came from either from Adam or Eve, or we evolved from a monkey to stand upright and go. No. So that's why I asked Amanda, you know, your understanding of how humans came to be, it's propaganda. It's what they want you to believe, but it's not reality. That's why you think that we all have the same origin. But when, like Sky said, but when we look deep into our genes and how our body function, we are completely night and day. Yes, you might look like us, you can speak like us, but you are not like us.
Gigi, what's your ancestral origin story that you
Hold
received?
on. We do one at a time, no over talking. Let's let Amanda respond, and then we'll get to Shakur and then John.
And she don't look like us. That's what we're making the distinction about. Her phenotype, which is determined by her genetics, is completely different than ours. They have animal
Yeah, because you
DNA.
guys are stuck in the evolution that, you guys are stuck there, and it's unfortunate, but we're evolving. We are still evolving, and you guys are still stuck there, and it's unfortunate. I understand why you guys are like, aggressive, because that's, the dynamic of a great ape. So, just be mindful of those things when you speak on these panels about us and not being.
How do we go from haploids to diploids? I'm not finna do this
Yeah.
whole around the world with you. This is a scientific discussion. We don't discuss titles or nothing like that. I can explain to you the base premise of evolution and why your scientists are saying that it never happened. I can explain to you why Earth's climate all over the globe is not how it's supposed to be because she's not vibing at her true resonance. I can explain chronobiology, climatology, everything. So none of this is made up or mysticism. Can you explain it? I'm gonna give you 3 seconds or less before I move on to the next guest. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, Shakir.
Ma'am,
Go ahead, Shakir.
you did.
We gave you
So,
the time. Go ahead.
I'm just confused by the premise. When you say these people are not us, to what extent? And what I mean by that
Genetics.
is, okay, here's the thing. All these people you have present in this picture, they have an ancestor that was probably super melanated, meaning they probably had dark skin leading up to blue. So, at what sense are they not you? Because you probably
What's the
have an
common
ancestor that
ancestor?
looked like one of these people.
What's the common ancestor?
What do you mean?
What's the common ancestor that we all share that you're insinuating? She's talking about evolution. It sounds like you're trying to back her up.
I
Evolution
don't
is saying,
support
hold
that.
on and don't overtalk me. All
Well,
right?
then don't accuse me of believing something I don't.
Don't overtalk me. It's okay. All right? I'm just giving you the rules of the room. It's okay. So what I'm saying is, you came up here talking about an ancestor. I'm asking you to point that ancestor out to me. Google, a book, a study. Tell me what's the common ancestry that we all share.
We don't all share a common ancestor.
So then we're not all the same.
Right, but you're mixed.
Okay, I'm not
So
mixed.
I'm
Nothing
confused.
about
You are mixed.
So-called black
you don't
people are
understand
not mixed.
genetics.
And I can
We
look at
don't.
you and tell.
We're the only people on this planet who don't have Neanderthal DNA. We're not mixed. The reason why you will see that so-called black people, they will try to say that we have European DNA, we have all these DNA, is because we have antigens surrounding our red blood cells coming
Bro,
from toxins and chemicals. When y'all forefathers went from continent to continent, y'all was spreading diseases. These diseases like hemolytic disease, zoonotic disease, which was so toxic that, hold on for a second, it was so toxic that it was, hold on for a second.
these Negroes are retarded.
Your seminal fluid, your reproductive fluids was so toxic that 509 million of our women around the planet was falling unalive. Our children was falling unalive because you're a sickness. You see what I'm saying? You're a virus. So this is why.
You're the virus,
Hold on for a
Negro.
second. See,
Love
you see what happens? These people start acting like the animals that they're spliced with. So again, these antigens that now are infecting our blood are surrounding our red blood cells and weakening the red blood cells. And the red blood cells are now unaliving more than they're reproducing, which is allowing now parasites, diseases, antigens, carcinogens to take place within the body and weakens the lymphatic system.
Exactly.
And this is why y'all give 33 to 32 shots of vaccines to our children, but when they come right out the womb, of monkey kidney cells, snake venom, you breaking our children's bones in the hospitals. We are not the same as y'all.
Go ahead and land for a second, Shakir, and we're gonna get to John.
Hey y'all, how y'all doing?
1 second, John. I'm
Think
gonna let
you are
him
doing
land, and
like
I'll get
super
right back to you.
nonsense. Like it's ridiculous. Like you're from Africa originally, but your people were mixed heavily. That's why you don't look like the unmixed African, which was
Does that
jet black
change? Can I
with a
just,
very wide nose and
Shakir,
very.
I've got almost a full panel here, so I'm gonna just wrap it up with you real quick. I'm gonna ask you a simple
You're
question.
confused.
Does being mixed change anything about the embryology?
It makes you a bastard, which you are. So I'm confused.
So, name calling, I'm not finna give into that.
It's
We
not a
asked you a
name. It's what you are.
simple question.
You're
Go ahead,
mixed.
John.
Okay,
We
so
don't
I can help
understand
y'all. I
you.
can make this like very clear so we can understand the differences in the two races. Okay, so I know y'all use the word melanated and melanin, but there's two different types of melanin. Uh, and that's eumelanin, spelled EUMELANIN. That's what black people have, and white people have pheomelanin. Now, a lot of times we see brown and we think brown is black, but really it's a dark red. You got to look up the differences between pheomelanin and eumelanin. Now, eumelanin, the special thing, this is what makes us two different species. Now, eumelanin produces endogenous hydrogen. You know the ingredients for water? It actually comes out of our skin. Y'all can Google it. It's called eumelanin. Type in the word hydrogen. That actual hydrogen is the reason why we don't get skin cancer and stuff like that. So when the sun hits us, our cells produces this hydrogen gas, which blocks the light from entering the cell. So we don't absorb light. You know, y'all taught us this, but we're two different species. We was never educated heavily on it. And that's why we're protected from the sun, is because our skin produces hydrogen. Now, pheomelanin, which is 99% of the animals and every other race outside of black. Now, pheomelanin works completely different than eumelanin. Pheomelanin works hand in hand with oxygen. When oxygen is in the body and then the light hits it, the cells absorb the light. They're the light bearers. They carry the light and they turn it into vitamin D. That's why the animals are so large and different things like that. Now, if you check any black person vitamin D level, their vitamin D level is almost the lowest on the planet. And that's just because we don't absorb the light. We don't convert it into vitamin D. We don't, the
Okay.
light is,
Hold on,
but
bro.
those are just,
We're gonna have to
It's a
cut.
lot that's wrong with what you're saying
Yeah.
because
A
you just
whole
heard him
lot.
say,
well, we can Google it.
No, no, no,
nah.
no,
You're
no, no.
calling
First of
people
all, you're
black and
talking
white, bro.
about
You're already discredited. You're already
1
Hold on for a
discredited.
second.
You can't
One
even physiologically don't call people colors and then try and
Hold on for a second.
So first of all, I'm just trying to interject. There are more than there's sheesh. Okay. There's more than just two types of melanin. All right. And I have more than just two types of people on the screen. There's 8 types of melanin. I'm gonna say it again. 5 basic, 3 that are synthetic. You're saying that BLK people are eumelanated, which is on the same spectrum as pheomelanin. They turn into each other. They're the same in composition based off of how much light they're actually able to interact with. They don't absorb and transmute. It's not neuromelanin, which is the only biochemical substance that can condense sunlight, and it's also condensed in its own composition. So that's the reason why we undergo black body radiation in the sun, because all of our cells are coated in neuromelanin. Do you want to say something? Like, we can't just say eumelanin and pheomelanin, because these people also have pyomelanin. These people also have allomelanin. There's also they're not just spliced with animals. They're spliced. They have banana DNA, potato DNA. So potatoes and bananas are hybridized.
Yeah,
So that's why it's important to actually talk about their genomics, their
yeah.
full genetics, genetic composition.
And I wanted to
Okay,
say
can I
one
ask you a
thing. Hold on
question?
for a second. I wanted to say one thing. EU melanin, you could also Google this up. EU melanin comes from animals. You see what I'm saying? Like bats, animals with dark hues.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Sloths, koala
Yeah, all of
bears.
those
The
things.
hair is you
But
melanin, not the
so-called
skin.
black
The hair
people,
is
And
you
you're
hold
the
on
melanin.
for
only
a
guys that
second.
don't have anything,
Oh my gosh. Just
Am I gonna
relax.
be able
have
to
nothing
Hold on
rebuttal?
for a
else in the.
second.
Everybody is gonna be able to speak, but we're trying to
I know, because I
respond to
was
y'all.
talking.
Give me a
They just
second. Give
Hold
me a
on for a
second. It's
second.
2 of us here, so you got to give us a second. It's not a emotional debate. It's about science. So you got to give us time to explain the science. Go ahead.
But your
Yeah, and
science explaining doesn't.
Amanda, I'm gonna
You
get you
don't.
out of here, babe. Thank you. All right, go
you know what I'm
ahead.
saying? I see the animals don't know the cow, the
Science behind
pig,
none
the
of this shit,
chicken.
All
but
right,
I
and we do one at a time in here, no over talking. That's the last time, all right? Because over talking flags alive, I already have flags for the day. This is my second live today. Please respect it. Go ahead.
Yeah. I was just gonna say the cow, the pig, the chicken didn't know what
flag.
the cow, the pig, the chicken didn't know what to speak. You see, with all these people. So again, EU melanin comes from is animal melanin. FEU and EU melanin, that's what you naturally see in nature. But you have vitro synthetic EU melanin and FEU melanin, which are lab-made melanins to mimic these melanins that they see in nature. And this is the ones, these synthetic melanins are the ones that they polymerize together through electroporation to make organisms. And everything that's eukaryotic, that's not natural to this planet, is made from these vitro synthetic melanins. So when you study so-called black people's cells and our DNA, it matches the stars. Our DNA literally comes from stardust, which was propelled here and pushed here and expelled here from a different star. Our DNA is forged inside stars. That's why our DNA has carbon, hydrogen, helium, oxygen, and nitrogen. You see what I'm saying? This is the basic components of neuromelanin. And neuromelanin, like we was talking about earlier, it coats all of our organs. And what is the largest organ in your body? Your skin, which is an extension of your nervous system, an extension of your brain and spinal cord. That's the first things that are formed inside of your mother's womb. And during
I got a question. Neuro means what?
neuromelanin is the
But
driving force
what
of
does the
this.
word neuro mean?
What does the word neural mean?
It
Yeah.
pertains to the brain, which is the first thing
Okay,
that's formed in
okay.
embryology.
I just want to answer that.
I
Okay,
got you. 1 second.
go ahead. No, yeah, go ahead.
My
Hold on, why
bad.
y'all keep muting me? That's weird.
Because you're
But
over talking us. Go ahead, though.
what I was discussing, okay, so neuro means brain. So to understand what
Right.
neuromelanin is just melanin in the brain. Every creature on the planet Earth, from the animals to the insects, have melanin in the brain.
No, they
The
don't.
difference is, okay, let me just finish, and then after that, you can go ahead and rebuttal all you want. Now, when it comes to animals having eumelanin, animals have eumelanin only in the eyes and the hair, not in the skin pigment. If you skin a monkey, it's going to turn pink. If you skin a dog, it'll turn pink. Whatever animal that you skin, the pigment of the skin, not the hair, not the eyes, the actual skin. And when you made the comment about we're made from stardust, our skin literally produces hydrogen. The
That's
same
from
thing that the sun
neuromelanin.
is made. Let me finish. The same thing that the sun is made of. The sun doesn't make hydrogen. Remember that. The sun uses
Excuse
hydrogen,
me.
but
Excuse me.
Let me finish. Let me finish.
hydrogen actually comes from our DNA. It produces it on an everyday basis. So when you're drinking water, thank yourself because your skin is producing the molecules to connect with the water as well as the molecules to make the sun shine, because the sun is made of hydrogen. It doesn't make hydrogen. It's only one organism on the planet Earth that produces endogenous hydrogen, and that's eumelanated skin. Only in the skin pigment produces endogenous hydrogen.
How can it only be in the skin when everything in your... Okay, hold
You can
on.
just Google it. It's
Okay,
common
hold
sense.
on. You don't even know what I'm asking you. Let's relax, okay? Let's relax. All right? Let's just... All right. First of all, the first thing that is constructed in embryology is the brain. Do we all have the same brain circuitry? Do we all and the thing that you said about us all animals having neuromelanin is so fucking false. Monkeys, sheep, what else? Dogs are not born with neuromelanin. You want to know why? Because their pineal glands are not producing it. So where is neuromelanin produced in the brain? Do these other animals and other organisms, are they born with open pineal glands? Because the scientists are saying that YT people and everybody outside of us are born with calcified pineal glands. And when you look at the animals that they're spliced with, they don't begin to produce small 0.1, 0.02% of neuromelanin at ages 2 or 3. So the question is, how are these people now, or how are these organisms now producing neuromelanin, but they weren't at birth? So there's something faulty in what you're saying. And what is my source for understanding embryology and neuromelanin in the brain? Written by 4 BLK neuroscientists that are very well versed in embryology: Dr. Ted C. Moore, Dr. Ann C. Brown, Dr. Edward Bruce Bynum, and Dr. Richard King. So this information, even that I'm saying right here, has been out for decades. So everything that you just said is false. All right. And I'm just letting you know that. The thing
Can I
is,
ask a
who's
question?
Okay,
next?
and that's
Sab and then Gigi.
okay. I just wanted to say one more thing too. Like, that's why at the end of my sentence, this is how you know when somebody's listening to respond or listening to comprehend. I literally, before he even said any of that, I literally said the brain and the spinal cord make up your body. The reason why your body knows how to move and knows what to do is because your brain told it what to do, either consciously or subconsciously. That's why your heart knows how to beat. That's when you have signals to know when to go to the bathroom, and everything is because of your brain. Your muscle cells, your melanocytes, your red blood cells, everything of every cell in your body is innervated from your neurons. It's innervated by your neurons.
Okay, he's asking me to show him. Give me 1 second. I'm finna go grab it.
Yeah, I wanted to ask the host. But Fio though, Pheomelanin, Fio in Latin means clipping, yeah? So I don't know if yes, everybody have melanin tissues, but melanin is something else, because mel is black in Latin. That's where it comes from. It means black. So when they telling us they have pheomelanin, it doesn't make any sense, because
I know that this is cut off on the screen, but this is literally a breakdown of telling you that they don't have neuromelanin, and it lists out. It says close to humans, including chimpanzee, gibbon, baboon, and more distinct ones such as horses, sheep. All of those. You telling me these people don't have sheep DNA, horse, dog, and chimpanzee DNA? So again, let me see and it's crazy how y'all asked me to prove stuff to y'all, but I just gave you 4 BLK scientists that are saying that. I have books pinned on my page with the information. So how come y'all come in here telling me to prove it, but y'all don't prove nothing else on y'all own? Right?
And
So
you came up here saying only 2 melanin existed. We just brought to you that 8 melanin exists. And the sun, you saying the sun doesn't produce hydrogen, but it's made up of hydrogen and helium. The sun is literally made up of those things, and it produces those things.
Hey, I just
yeah.
checked
And
it
it's
out. They
alive.
do have
The
neuromelanin.
sun is
Animals do.
literally, hold on for a
It
second.
was a lie again.
The sun is literally alive. It's
just-
a reflection.
John.
Hold on for a second. The sun is a reflection of a black man, if you don't understand. Without the physical body, that's how black men look. And the universe, the entire universe, the electron, that's how black women really look, down to their core.
Quantum level.
So on a quantum level, yes, that's celestial gas up there. That's us, bro.
I wanted
And
to
it-
ask
like,
you.
what you talking
I wanted
about?
to ask you. Can you
Can I ask a
please
question? Yeah.
wait, y'all? Wait. I'ma get to everybody. I'm trying to talk too, and run a live too, so I have to talk the most. Give me 1 second, y'all. And then I promise I'm gonna move on to the next guest. Can you explain to me the life cycle of a star? Brother, please explain to me. You should be able to do, if you understand their entire composition, you should be able to explain it to me 7 steps or less. How are stars created? You should be able to tell me how stars are created, how land, planets, everything is created if you understand
Condensed
the
hydrogen.
conversation. Who?
Condensed hydrogen. Everything is made of hydrogen. You take one hydrogen, you put it together and make helium. You add another hydrogen molecule to it to make a heavier element. All elements start from the very first element, which is hydrogen. Everything's created from the very first element, which is hydrogen. Once they bond together, it creates heavier elements. Therefore, our skin produces endogenous hydrogen, like I said, which produces everything in existence.
You said that the sun doesn't make carbon.
No, what I
The
said
sun
was
doesn't make
what?
the sun. My bad. It's
I
because
didn't
we're
say the
talking at
sun
the.
didn't make
I
anything.
got
What I
you. It's
said,
because
what I
we're
said was
talking at this. I got you. You're saying that the sun doesn't make hydrocarbon.
the sun does not make hydrogen.
Hydrogen.
It
My
does
bad.
not make hydrogen. It carries hydrogen. All the elements that you're speaking on, whether it's metal, whether it's water,
Okay,
whether
then.
it's
Okay,
and
then.
whether it's,
Then.
can I
Okay.
finish, please? Can I finish? We said we weren't talking over each other. Hydrogen, if you look on the periodic table, if you take a hydrogen molecule, it bonds with another hydrogen and you get what? Helium. So you bond something else with that helium and you get a heavier element and so forth,
What's
so
the
on. You get
something
the whole,
else? What's
oh
the
my
other
God. Can I
interstellar
finish, please?
gas?
Can I
No,
finish?
because you cut me off. So
I
I'm
didn't
just
cut you
asking,
off.
just
You
like
asked me
you
a
asked
question
me,
about a star.
just like you asked me a clarifying question, I'm doing the same thing. All right. What's the other element? What's the other interstellar gas? What's the nanodiamond? Explain to me how stars are created. You could have just said Big Bang, the Big Bang phenomenon, binary fusion. It's simple. But go ahead, Sab, and then we'll get to Gigi.
He left now, but I was just curious.
I'm gonna bring him back up. I just wanted to stop all the over talking. But go ahead.
You know what? I had muted because that was a lot. Basically, he just kept leaving out nitrogen. First of all, hydrogen is only like a trace amount in the lower atmosphere. Nitrogen makes up 78% of the atmosphere. He forgot about the nitrogen though. But he kept leaning into the hydrogen. But how did you leave the nitrogen out? This is the difference. These gases, some of these people, I don't want to get too much into it because it'll call me, weird or whatever, but we're just not the same. We'll leave it at that. We're not the same. These couples, these guys that are mixing with the other types of people, I don't like calling people colors, but they end up, if you look at the rates of like illnesses with these couples, it's crazy. I was just looking this up the other day because it wasn't make sense. I was like, why is it when these biracial couples get together, the mental illness from their offsprings and the disease that they carry is crazy, but they keep promoting this mixing of the people. And it's wild because when they mix, they create this offspring that is mentally unstable. And physiologically, they're not able to sustain themselves. It's a lot. I don't know. I was just looking it up. But yes, they do carry certain diseases, especially when mixing together. That's where a lot of the diseases come from. The cancer, different, I think it was like Mayo or something. They were talking about that. But it's just really strange, the rates of illness that biracial couples experience versus when people stay with their own kind.
Yeah, hemolytic disease, zoonotic disease, ischemia, all of this actually is invoked on a cellular level every time our people lay down and try to procreate with them. You actually are thinning out your own blood and it's adding antigens that are already present in the blood from us mixing. And when we first came in contact with these people, they wiped out 2 continents alone with just venereal disease. And if you're paying attention to history, it wasn't about GUNs, it wasn't about weaponry, it wasn't about that was a portion of it, but the driving force behind their tactic was sickness. When their men were
Yep.
when our women was coming in contact with their seminal fluids, we were dropping like flies instantly because these people now are a lot more genetically modified now through food and genetic engineering to where it's less of a issue, but it's still being evoked every time. That's the reason why the Rogam shot and things like that were created, because before then there weren't a lot of successful pregnancies. We look less like each other now than we did 100 years ago. If you look at us 1896, 1901, 1900s, we look a lot more neuromelanated. We look a lot more alike than we do today, and that's because of mixing. But go ahead, Chai, and then we'll get to Gigi. And then
Are
John,
you
when I
talking
let you
about
back up here,
Pacific
please
race?
no over talking. Go ahead, Chai.
Are you talking about? I'm sorry about that, but you talking about Pacific race? Because if you want to be real, to me, we all humans at the end of the day. And if you want to be even more real, every living thing in this world has the same organs that we do too. So what were we talking about again? About
We're
I
talking
heard
about everybody outside of so-called BLK people don't stem from the same embryological origin as us. So we are not genetically the same.
if you want to be real, we all came from y'all, right? That's the phone.
Again, so I'm gonna say
You
it again.
definitely didn't come from me.
Everybody outside of us stems from a different embryological origin. Do
Everybody
you know what that
outside of
means?
us. If Africa was the original
It's not.
I'm
thing
not,
of all,
I'm not talking about Africa. I'm talking about the cells in your body come from an embryological origin. All right.
all right. So
We
think of
have
this,
a
right?
different. God damn,
If I'm
y'all.
doing pills, right? Say if I'm doing
We
You
can't.
don't like, do y'all really want to come up here and actually have a conversation, or you just trying to talk over people and think that's like winning a so-called debate or some shit?
Yeah.
Like, you're not saying shit, bro. She not saying Africa. You were the one who brought that to the conversation. She said embryology has nothing to do with landmass. She didn't say the embryology of landmasses. She said the embryology of
Your cells.
organisms. You see what I'm saying? How the cell becomes the organism. And how the cell becomes the organism, the so-called black woman, she doesn't have the proteins, the enzymes, the nucleic acid of animals to pass it on to create an animal. She doesn't have this. So where did she get this genetic information from to do this? She doesn't have it. So the only explanation of a hybrid, which means you get a genetic material from one organism and then you get another genetic material from another organism and put them together, that can only happen from genetic splicing.
Introgression.
So how come they say that humans, which is everybody outside of so-called black people, because hue means animal man, how come they say humans share DNA with over 25,000 genes from different animals that cannot naturally reproduce with each other? Y'all got dog, fruit fly, cows. I never seen you. Show me one person that's seen a cow outside reproducing with a pig and they had a baby together.
That doesn't happen
That
in
doesn't
nature.
happen in nature. So only explanation is you was genetically spliced. Stop trying to say you came from the black woman. She doesn't make you. She makes albino, which is still us. You see,
Neuromelanin.
still neuromelanin. She makes 48 different shades of herself. She doesn't make animal DNA. She has stardust DNA, which is cosmic DNA, which is neuromelanin. When you look up stardust, look at what stardust contains in it. It contains genes, DNA, and chemicals to create life, planets, and solar systems.
Seeded all
So
life.
well, I don't know why we're talking about, oh, it's just hydrogen.
Can I ask you
How are we gonna talk about hydrogen and these different chemicals, but not the first neural substance that it made, which is neuromelanin?
That's what we're trying to get our people to
It didn't.
understand.
That's like, I don't get
We can't
it.
talk about skin color and not understanding what makes the skin. What makes the skin present the way that it does. So we got to start understanding composition. When these people step in the sun, they combust internally, acute body radiation. Look it up. But we undergo black body radiation because the sun is actually responding to our DNA, because it is the sun and we are the sun in the flesh, the universe in the flesh. And I think you forgot it. So I'm gonna just add this in and then let him go. But the BLK woman through parthenogenesis can spark that whole entire zinc spark on her own.
Yes.
That's how we created the man. That's why all these religious texts, all these religions, these doctrines, these dogmatic satanic rituals, ritualistic religions are talking about how a virgin gave birth to a man. Parthenogenesis, Parthenon, Dober Blair talks about it. You can research that.
Yep.
All right. And that zinc spark, the pattern that you see with the sperm fertilizing the totipotent stem cell, because we don't have animal DNA. So our totipotent stem cell doesn't function like their ovum or their egg cell. They have egg cells. That's what makes them human. That's what makes her completely different down to a biological level, is that she has ovum, right? And
Exactly.
these are ovum created from multipotency and pluripotency. They're not totipotent stem cells like how we have. So it's not just Henrietta Lacks, my sisters. All of us are the same through embryology, through mitochondria DNA making replications. When the prokaryotic cell splits, it creates the daughter cell, which is the replication of the very first woman, the very first cell. Reason why we look different today is because there are antigens attached to the red blood cell. Because of that, you are now African American, and your antigens differ from the so-called Nigerian woman. The Nigerian woman's antigens so-called different than the so-called Black Asiatic, right? So that's what we have to understand, is that we're not producers of antigens, but we do have them attached to our blood from mixing. Go ahead. Go ahead. Who is Jose? Go ahead, Jose.
Yeah, hello
Yeah,
folks.
we're
How you guys
doing
doing?
it. But yeah.
Hope everyone's doing okay, you know. I don't wish anything bad upon you. But yeah, well we all come from the Homo sapiens, right? And it's been proven we're all from Africa, right?
No.
No.
Out
No?
of Africa has been debunked in evolution. The base premise of how we went from haploids to diploids, autotroph to heterotroph, was never proven.
And
So
It's
where
fact
are
in the
we from
theory.
then?
It's fact in the theory. So hear me clearly. It's facts in there, but the premise of what it's trying to prove hasn't ever been proved.
actually, the out of Africa theory came from Darwinism, an
Yep.
actual a guy who didn't know anything about science, never went to school about science, knew nothing about science. He just said that we're different from him, and he's superior, and he came from us, but we're different from you, and we have diseases, but you're graping us. That don't
That
make
was
sense. Why would we
that
have
wasn't from
diseases but you're
Darwinism,
graping
brother.
us?
That wasn't from Darwinism. That was from Pangea.
Yes, out
That's
of
the
Africa
Darwin. Oh
theory.
my gosh.
That's where the book came from. Yes, you can go
Charles
look it up.
Darwin?
Charles Darwin. He's the one who came up with the out of Africa theory, and he's not even the scientist himself.
Come on, they teach that in school, 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th, or at least
Okay.
7th, 8th grade science. They're teaching Darwinism.
Okay,
Can we?
you know what?
Can we?
Let me go to Google, search it.
Can we
Go
first
ahead,
realize?
Steph.
Sorry. I just wanted to say something real quick. This out of Africa theory is crazy because can we first realize that Africa is in the Eastern Hemisphere? We're
That's
over here in the
us,
West.
Pangea, man.
No. But we're in the West. We're over here on the other side. So what we're not going to do is keep connecting us to that Eastern Hemisphere. This is why you all, these conquistadors and everyone else that is not naturally from over here, you need to go back over to the West or
No,
to
you
the
see,
East.
okay, now
Stop bringing
I'm
that
seeing where you
stuff
guys are
over
coming
There's
from.
no
here.
Okay.
place
It's
on the
Pangea,
planet.
We're
man.
not out of
It's Pangea.
Africa when we're over here in America. We're just not.
There's no place. Go ahead.
Yeah,
It's
Go ahead.
okay. Can I speak?
yeah.
I
Hold
keep
on
getting
hold
muted,
on
like
for a
for no reason.
second. Hold on for a
Damn,
second.
bro.
You're gonna speak. You was just speaking, and then she started to speak. So your turn been up. The problem is that this whole planet genetically belongs to Black people around the planet. There is no start point for Black people on this planet. Our start point starts in the core of stars. Our DNA is forged in stars. It's called stardust. Then that star that forged it sends a magnetic frequency carrying those stardust to another solar system. And in that solar system, now with that stardust, activates that stardust and all the particles within it to create planets, life. And the first life that the universe wanted to take shape was the so-called Black woman. So if you're saying you came from the stars, which is the so-called Black woman, how do we go from haploids to diploids? You see what I'm saying? So no matter where we are on the planet, the Black woman, she's the divine creator of life. So there's no motherland. We're on the Mother Earth.
Okay.
So that was just I was just clocking everything that was been saying. But I'm
Okay.
I'm focused on you.
But we all
Okay, go
come
ahead,
from a
man.
Black woman, then, right? That's what you're saying.
Yeah,
We all come from
how
a
did
Black
you come
woman.
from her?
No. I'm asking you a question. How are you gonna answer a question with a question? I'm asking you. So we all come from a Black woman, right?
No, you
If I'm
don't.
No, okay. Look, please give me a second. All right. This is what I was trying to say a minute ago. Stop giving these people a place on the planet. Just because they were found at the Caucasus Mountains does not mean that they share genetics and embryology with them. Okay? That's where they were found. Turns out their biology and their genetics does not align with any place on this globe. All right? So we have to start understanding that we were a global matriarchal system. Every so-called early civilization that they talk about all shared the same knowledge. There's pyramids on every single landmass because we all knew that these pyramids connected and channeled energy from other stars. That means that we knew that.
Okay. I'm like, dude, I've been trying to talk, but like I keep getting blocked off.
Stop talking when she's talking, or you just
She
gonna get
was done
removed.
talking, bro. She was done.
Bro,
No,
god damn, y'all.
no, she wasn't done talking.
Like seriously, it's a lot of feedback in the background and I can't really hear myself. It's different when you're running a live, y'all, than you being on a panel. All right? Please give me the respect to speak as long as I need to. This is science that I'm relating from down to who we are on a quantum level to the stars. You got to give me time. All right? Relax. It's not a debate. If you're in here debating, you need to ask yourself what's blocking you from seeing the truth. This isn't a debate. All right? This is me trying to tell my people we're more than black, Tamari, copper-colored Indian, Nigerian. We're more than the title. Learn your genetics so you can actually know who you are. That's what this is about. All right, these white people, these Mexicans that's coming in here, this is just a demonstration for y'all to understand you need to learn more about yourself. So the point that I'm trying to make, these people do not. Thank you. These people do not come from us, period. Explain it to me through embryology how these people come from us, or hush.
Simple.
Simple. If you can't do it, don't request up. Because we're going to ask the questions. And when y'all say something that's false, we're going to debunk it. And when we debunk, give us the time to do it. Don't overtalk me. That's rude. Why would you request up on my live and cut me off while I'm speaking to you? All right, go ahead, Gigi. I know you've been patient for a minute. Go ahead.
Thank you. I hear about stardust and space and everything, yeah. But can it be explained where black people originated from the beginning?
That is the
be
beginning.
explained?
That's the beginning. We made the planet.
Interstellar gases and nanodiamonds. Here, let me put this on the screen.
Yeah.
It's just they're not connecting with what we're saying.
Before the planet was made, we were already in space. You see what I'm saying? Prokaryotic cells are formed first. That's what makes up the planet. And we are
I'm about to explain it to you. I'm about to explain it to you in 7 steps. All right. So the first one, cosmological singularity in the germ of the universe. This right here is basically just saying the singularity marks the starting point of the universe's expansion. So when you're asking, what do you mean when you say stardust? We're talking about the single most starting point of the universe is what our suit is constructed of. Does that make sense to you so far? That when we look at biochemical composition on a quantum level, from quantum to atom, so atom to cells, from cells to tissues, we do not have organelles, from tissues to organ to organism. That's macro, that's somatic, physically, how you came from quantum to who you are today. Before you were a clump of cells, you were atoms before that. Those atoms make up the entire universe that we know of today. Does that so far make sense to you, Gigi?
Yeah, I'm following you. Continue.
Okay, so when we go to the next part, because basically what this is just the breakdown of the Big Bang Theory. A lot of people don't want to believe in the Big Bang Theory, but the base premise of it has been proven to be correct. Evolution has not, though. That's the reason why we use that. Because it's going back to what created the planet itself. Then, in what they consider to be the second stage of creating a star, would be the spatial environment. The universe enters a stage dominated by dark energy, which is neuromelanin. The stage is described by a chaotic web, a point of sources of electric charges and magnetic lines of force. So, dark energy environment and a unique spatial construct that drives the universe acceleration to expand. So, literally, it's already aware in the first stage to form. It is now
Sorry,
being able
host,
to
sorry to interject.
gosh,
Can you go
bro.
back to the
Abundance